So here we are then, all set for the final 3 races of this season, the championship decider. And for the 6th year in a row, Jason Plato has a chance of winning the title. He is the reigning champion, but the Hondas with the star of qualifying, and Matt Neal sits pretty on pole.
He does, and a fantastic effort by Matt Neal. Clearly all the emotion welling up in a great driver's performance. And is that going to be the difference this weekend? The guy that wants to win it wins it badly enough. Although there is some question mark over Matt Neal's mathematics. He reckoned that with 2 cars out of 3 the best chance winning, that was a 60% chance winning. Well, I did wonder about that. Where's the other 10%, Matt? But they certainly have the best chance. They're both up there, and they'll take it stage by stage. This first race will establish who has the best chance.
So it's Matt Neal starting from pole position. Alongside him is Matt Jackson in the Airways Ford. Gordon Shedden in the second Honda starts on the second row with James Nash next door in the Vauxhall. Then Alex McDowell in the Chevrolet and Tom Chilton are together on row 3. On row 4 there is Jason Plato starting down in 7th. Andy Neate next door. Then Frank Rathel in the Toyota, Tom Boorman in the Seat, Tom Onslow Cole in another Team A on Ford, and Andrew Jordan on the outside of row 6. Dave Newsham and Paul O'Neill are next on row 7. There's James Thompson in the 3rd Airwaves car, then Nick Foster, Rob Collard and Liam Griffin. Behind them on row 10 then we've got Ollie Jackson and Rob Austin, Dan Welsh and Tony Gillam, then John George and Martin Byford. What a superb grid this is. Chris Swanwick, Lee Wood, Tony Hughes, Chris James, Jeff Smith and John Thorne is going to be starting right at the back in the brand new Vauxhall Insignia, which has only been prepared for this weekend. Another new NGTC car, so well done to the guys. But up front, of course, the battle is all about taking points from this race. There are 52 points available today, 1 point already going the way of Matt Neal. Jason Plato needs to beat the Hondas over the 3 races, and he starts several places behind them, of course, but between Shedden and Neal as well, only those 5 points. There you are, Neal on 225, Plato and Shedden both on 220.
Yeah, although in fact Neal will gain the extra point for pole position, which he gets effectively when this race starts, so it'll be 6 points. Outside grid for pole position here, which is the racing line into the first corner, but it does mean if you make a poor start, you leave the door open for Matt Jackson in the red Airwaves car to take over. There goes John Thorne, the last car. I think he'll pull off the circuit. It's just for demonstration purposes, but great to see they got that car up and running as they promised.
Yeah, so he comes back in the pits. Still a lot of work to be done on that car, but it looks pretty impressive in its Batman livery. All the cars are lining up on the grid now, though, with Matt Neal at the front of that queue. Matt Jackson in the Airwaves car on the left-hand side as we look at it. Then Gordon Shedden. Keep an eye on the second of the Chevys, that's Plato. McDowell is the first of the Chevys on the grid. And we're all set to go. Lights out, away we go. Then Matt Neal trying to get off the line. Good start from Jason Plato. He has managed to get a good start. Oh, we got an accident behind, and straight into Ollie Jackson goes one of the Audis, and round goes Ollie Jackson. Off goes the Audi, and off goes Tony Gillam. Oh, what a shame in that car that they have spent weeks, hours trying to get it ready. It is Rob Austin in the Audi that's off as well, but up front it's Matt Neal who leads from Matt Jackson and Gordon Shedden.
Yeah, almost certainly be a safety car up front, though. As you say, Matt Neal has got ahead in front, although Jackson will push him very hard on this lap. They race up until the point they see the safety car boards, so they can still race until they get there. It's not just back to the start-finish line.
No, that's right. When they see a board, though, then they've got to back it off, and I should think the boards will spread fairly quickly. James Nash got a good getaway. He's been put under pressure there, I think, by Andy Neate. As they come around this time through Luffield, they will all have to back off.
Yes, they will. The safety car is definitely out. They'll all have passed the boards now and slowed up. We'll have to see what caused that accident. Looked like some mid-corner bunching, but very big shame, as you say, for Tony Gillam and the Jeff Steele Racing Team. They put a lot of effort into getting that turbocharged BMW on the grid here.
Tom Chilton is the lead Team A on Ford, by the way. There's Gillam, he's out of his Ford, but he can't believe it. What a way to go out on the debut of that turbocharged BMW. Let's look at the background and see if we can spot what happens. Oh, Austin trying to squeeze down the inside of Liam Griffin, and then it started from there. Yeah,
Austin got a better start with a rear-wheel drive Audi and went down the inside, but then just tagged the front of Liam Griffin's car and that fired him off into the car of Ollie Jackson. We didn't quite see where the Tony Gillam car goes. Watch in the middle of your screen. Yeah, that's Austin's car with the broken rear suspension, but it's Gillam's car that slammed into the barriers sideways there at high speed.
Yeah, and what a surprised really that it happened to Gillum like that. Let's just see what happened to Jason Plato, who's come round in 6th place at the end of the first lap.
Yeah, he got a great start, proved immediately past McDowell, stays on the outside, that's Nash on his right, he's going to keep the power on, run all the way out to the outside. That's acceptable on the first lap where there's bunching, but look, up the inside has come Chilton.
Yeah, that was a great start by Tom Chilton. It's put him into 5th place, as you see, just behind James Nash, so good bit of place gaining for Tom, and he'll make the most of that with a Ford. He had 2 wins on this Silverstone National Circuit last year to Chilton, and the Ford has shown great promise all weekend again, whether it's Team Aon cars or the Airwaves. Let's look at it for the start again, Tim.
Yeah, you could just see in the background Rob Austin was alongside on the inside there going into there was further contact. That's what fired Gillum off.
I think what happened is Ollie Jackson was spinning one way and then it gripped and shot backwards, and that's what took Gillum. So that's why there was a sort of delay. Gillum was clear for a moment, and then that black Vauxhall shot back in front of him, and that took him out. And Thompson's in the pits at the end of the first lap. That's James Thompson, former champion, former double champion, returning this weekend. But sadly, it's not been a great start to his campaign.
No, and they're looking around the car as though there's a problem. It's not just a case of a puncture. They're looking for something loose or somewhere on the car. If it was a quick puncture, you could get that changed and get back out at least on the back of the Crocodile behind the safety car. It looks like the damage is worse as they try to pull Tony Gillum's car out of the way.
Well, I do feel for those guys. I was talking to them yesterday, and they've put so much work into getting that car ready for this weekend, and so they will be gutted, but that's the way it goes. Let's take a look at the start from Matt Jackson's point of view here, Tim.
It was a pretty good start, actually. About even Stevens with Matt Neal, who has to close off and defend. He just puts his car across the face of Matt Jackson's car to say, I'm here, and he's got the run ahead. They both made very even starts, the only difference really being the advantage on the grid in front that Matt Neal had initially.
Yeah, and no change amongst the top 4 in terms of where they qualified and where they came round at the end of the first lap, so no gains or losses. But Chilton, as I say, gaining a place up to 5th. Plato's gained a place, he's up to 6th. McDowell is 7th. Neat is currently 8th, by the way. And we gather that it's a broken front damper on James Thompson's car, so that's a very disappointing, bit of a surprise. So that's a real shame.
Yeah, so that's an odd one, because he's only done 1 lap. He may have had some contact, but you'd have thought he might have had that at the end of qualifying.
Yeah, so there's on board with Jason Plato. Busy having a chat, I think, with his team at the moment over the radio. We might just see if we can just see whether there's Matt Neal leading this race. He's got Matt Jackson behind him, of course, in the Ford. Yeah,
interesting on that on board with Jason Plato. You can see him tightening his belts up yet again. He's probably tightened those belts 4 or 5 times since he got in the car, because once you're in the car, you think the belts are tight, but then once you start racing, you need to tighten them again and again until you're really secure.
So Matt Jackson, let's see whether he gets a good restart. The cars come out of Luffield as we get ready for the cars to go racing hard once again. We've had our first safety car period. We might have a few more this weekend. It's Matt Neal leading. Matt Jackson in 2nd place. Gordon Shedden is in 3rd. Then it's Nash in the black and silver Vauxhall, followed by Tom Chilton. Then Jason Plato. And Plato needs to now make some ground as early as possible to try and get on terms with some of these turbo cars ahead. But Plato, actually, with McDowell and Andy Neat behind, might have his hands full as Matt Neal leads them through Maggots into Beckett's, and Tom Chilton getting very close to the back of the Vauxhall there of James Nash as well. And Plato just running a wheel over the curb on the exit of the corner, and he did get away from McDowell and from Andy Neat.
Yeah, although he'll be happy to have McDowell behind him, because at least he's got his teammate there that's going to protect him. At the moment it's Jackson challenging Matt Neal and Chilton challenging Nash very hard.
Yeah, Tom Chilton wants to get back on top, as he was here last year when he was running the LPG powered Ford. There he is, had a victory of course this season, but not many other podiums, and so he could really do with finishing the season off in style that you're looking from Jason Plato. Plato obviously desperately wants to get past that Ford and get himself on terms with Gordon Shedden and Matt Neal. Now on that lap, Shedden was actually the quickest of the leaders over the lap, but he's in 3rd place is Gordon Shedden, carrying a little less ballast than his teammate Matt Neal. Remember, Matt Neal is carrying maximum ballast, and although he did that brilliant job in qualifying, surely that maximum ballast may hurt him as we go through the race.
Yeah, obviously all the teams, or the top teams at least, have done race simulations in first free practice or second free practice I know the Airwaves team did, and they were very happy with the results, and it is a little bit cooler today, so it'll give the tyres a slightly gentler time. We haven't, not likely to have the puncturing scenario we had at Brands Hatch with the curbs and the hot weather, but you never know. But certainly Matt Neal carrying 45 kilos, it's a harder job in the race.
So on board with Jackson, we're in second place here, looking at Matt Neal just ahead. Matt Neal is leading this championship, but Jackson really needs to beat Neal to keep his own chances of winning this title alive, because remember, Jackson's that much further down in the points. Still in with a shout, but he needs to try and beat Matt Neal here to keep his hopes alive. What's that little bit of rubbing there? Is that just normal as they come through Cox?
Yeah, that's under heavy load. It looks like the left front tyre's just kissing the bodywork a fraction, because it only happens under very heavy loading to the right. So I don't think that's anything to worry about, and certainly Matt hasn't had any contact. But certainly Matt Jackson has got nothing to lose here. He's got to go for it.
Now, what's gone on behind? James Nash and Chilton, they are still battling, yeah, for fourth place, but look, they've dropped back a little bit, and now here comes Chilton having a look down into the left-hander of Brooklands, can't get through there. So James Nash in fourth, but not able to sustain the pace of the leading Hondas and Ford of Neal, Jackson and Shetton. And this is grouping everybody together. This is good for Plato, because it's keeping Plato right on the back of Chilton.
Yeah, this is what happened a little bit earlier. This is coming through Copse, and Chilton was on the outside of Nash, but they're side-by-side approaching Beckett's, and somehow Nash got back in front.
Yeah, so Nash did a pretty good job there to stay in fourth place. Remember, he needs to sort of try and keep on terms with Jackson in terms of that championship chase in the independent drivers battle. But this is up front, Matt Neal versus Matt Jackson and Gordon Shetton. Shetton getting a little closer again to Jackson on this lap. Different lines coming out.
Matt Jackson takes the Giovanardi line, doesn't he? Comes out the corner very tight. The advantage is you get the steering lock off very quickly, get the car straight, but the disadvantage, you don't carry quite as big corner momentum. This is really getting tight up behind James Nash now. Matt Dowell's having to defend himself from Andy Neate.
Yes, that's right. Andy Neate ahead of his own teammate Tom Onslow Cole in the other Ford. Behind them we've got Andrew Jordan in 10th, Newsham 11th, Boardman is 12th, O'Neill running 13th, Rob Pollard is 14th, and Frank Raffle lost a lot on the first lap because he's down in 15th place ahead of Nick Foster and Liam Griffin. You're looking back from Jason Plato. So Jason's still in 6th place, needs to try and pick up some places, and McDowell behind under threat there from Andy Neate. Andy Neate's got the inside, but no, can't carry the speed. Now, you're allowed to get away with that 3 times, but after that you get a warning flag, and if you do it again, you're in for a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, and the Bob Kettleborough's told me they're going to be very strict on that this weekend. Virtually all the drivers used the run-off there in qualifying to set their fastest lap. And in fact, car 44 has already, which is Andy Neate, already had the black and white warning flag for exceeding circuit limits.
So Andy Neate's got to be careful as you're watching him, in fact, go on the attack there of Alex McDowell just ahead. So car number 44 will be given a black and white warning flag this time around for running all 4 wheels over the edge at Copse Corner. But meanwhile, he's still trying to get past that Chevy that's ahead of him. Plato, meanwhile, hasn't really been able to put any pressure on Tom Chilton. Up front though, Jackson is very close to the back of Matt Neal, and you have to say Matt Neal is definitely having to keep an eye on his mirrors. Yeah,
Jackson set the fastest lap on lap 6, so he is the quickest man on the track. This is further back with Jeff Smith just losing it, in fact, while he was looking down the inside of Welch, but fortunately managed to save it with a hefty dose of right throttle.
Yeah, and didn't take Welch with him, so he did pretty well there not to hit the Proton. Dan Welch currently running in 18th place, by the way. Chris Swanwick's come up to 20th. Fastest lap so far, and the extra point going the way of Matt Jackson. That might change over the next lap or two as Plato and McDowell trying to fend off those 2 Fords. It's 2 Chevys versus 2 Fords, and Andy Neate's now got between the 2 Chevys. So Andy Neate doing a good job there. He's split the Chevys and he's in behind Jason Plato.
Yeah, this is the difficulty here for the normally aspirated cars, because as you can see, the nature of the circuit, apart from the first corner Copse, is straight, slow corner, straight. Oh, there's a problem. Plato's got a problem.
Plato slowed right down. Plato has slowed right down. He's gone past our commentary position on the runoff area there, and it's all going wrong for Jason Plato. What is happening? Suddenly he backed right out of it. He's not able to battle.
Puncher on the left front.
Oh, we've seen it before this year. We saw it with Honda at Brands Hatch at the last meeting. We've seen it with Jason at Donington earlier this year. We had problems at Thruxton, but it has happened to Jason in the early stages of one of the most crucial races of the season.
Well, there was I saying that we shouldn't have as much problem with punctures, and then it's affected one of the championship favourites.
Oh, that is so disappointing. Matt Neal is still leading this race. Matt Jackson is in second place, but it looks as though it could all be over for Jason Plato. He won't be completely out of it, because whatever Matt Neal does, even if he wins the race with all the bonuses, he still won't be completely clear of Jason Plato. And of course, we've still got a battle between the two Honda teammates here, Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden, who are currently split by Matt Jackson.
Yeah, and I can tell you the call will have already gone out from Steve Neal on the pit wall at Dynamics to tell both of his drivers, Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden, that Plato's got a puncture. And it gives Matt Neal an interesting thought now. Does he actually let Matt Jackson go through, knowing that Plato is out of the championship and is then between him and his teammate a little bit? I'm not saying Jason's completely out of the championship, but obviously it largely hands it back in the favour of the two Hondas. So the complexion of the race changes, but for Matt Neal it would also be better to finish with a car between him and Shedden.
Absolutely right, but will anybody else get punctures? I mean, if we've seen it before at Brands, if one car gets a puncture, it might not be the only one. So let's wait and see around this Silverstone National Circuit. It's peeling off the rim is that front tyre on Jason Plato's, but because it's a short track, it's a little easier to get back to the pits, and that's what he's done across the line. It's Matt Neal leading from Matt Jackson by just 0.19 of a second. Shedden still in the hunt as well. James Nash is still in fourth place, by the way, fending off the likes of Tom Chilton and Andy Neate. But Matt Jackson just running two wheels over. That's okay. You're allowed to run two wheels over the edge as long as it's not all four.
Yeah, of course, it was disaster for Plato in that happened with a whole lap to go. It may be a short lap here, but it's not a short lap when you've got a punch on your left front, and he's had to do a whole lap and gone a lap behind now.
Oh, that is truly horrible for Silverline Chevrolet, for Jason Plato. He's got this incredible record of coming into the final event of the season over the last 6 years with a chance of winning the title, but you have to say it looks to be ebbing away now as Matt Neal continues to lead. It's a Honda 1 and 3, the Ford still splitting them, and look at James Nash now coming under increasing pressure from Tom Chilton. Well, these two have been hard at it for quite a few laps now. This is for fourth place, of course, and Nash determined to try and stay just as the next independent driver ahead or behind Matt Jackson. Remember, Chilton was last year's independent champion, had a bit of an up and down season this year, but he will want to try and get a podium finish if at all possible.
Yeah, Chilton clinched out the last round of Brands Hatch last year when Onslow Cole had 3 non-finishes, incredibly, at the last race.
Yeah, well, Onslow Cole's still in 8th place in this race. Andy Jordan is in 9th place. Dave Newsham, by the way, up into 10th, but you're on board with Matt Jackson. So, can the Airways Ford find a way past the Honda? Is that Honda beginning to struggle yet with the ballast on board? You have to say, right now it's looking very good. We're a half distance in this first race of 3 of the day. A little bit of lock up on that left rear. Nothing unusual there, though.
No, all looking good. In fact, Matt Jackson, seems very good round these final 2 parts of the circuit and into Cops, in fact. But then Matt Neal seems to do well at Beckett's and down the straight. Yeah,
that's right. So they're very, very evenly matched, these two cars. The speed track figures yesterday certainly showing the Ford having very good straight line speed. Those mount-tuned Ford engines are strong, but the Neil Brown engines in the Hondas have been strong all year as well, so there's not too much difference between them.
No, they both are very well established engine tuners at the top of their game, and these two teams elected to use their own engine tuners rather than take the Toka Swindon built engine, and so far I'd say they've had the dominance in the engine front.
Yeah, they've performed extremely well. Looking back at James Nash, still trying to defend his position from Tom Chilton. Behind them, Andy Neate. Alex McDowell is still in 7th place, and then Onslow Cole tucked in there also is Andrew Jordan. I think Onslow Cole might have gained a place. Yeah, he has. He's got past McDowell. McDowell's lost a place to the other Ford, so Onslow Cole's gone through. Andrew Jordan, meanwhile, trying to defend from the 2 Seats of Newsham Bournemouth, and joining in the fun is Rob Collard in his BMW.
Yeah, although somehow earlier on the 2 Fords of Neate and Onslow Cole dropped back a long way from Chilton when Plato had that puncture. I'm not sure why, because they were right in that fight, but it's now Chilton that's the lead Aon Ford taking the fight to Nash.
That's right. And meanwhile, these three cars up front are still very close together. Only half a second between Jackson and Shedden. We're looking on board from Shedden's point of view as he chases the airwaves forward there of Matt Jackson. And Jackson, who's had a lot of success here at Silverstone in the past, always seems to go well in the final meeting of the year. He's just keeping cool at the moment, staying out of trouble. And we gather we've got a drive-through penalty for Tom Chilton. So that, presumably, Tim, will be about using too much road?
Yeah, too much road, four wheels over the curve on the exit of Copse. Plato in again.
Plato.
Wow, that's terrible.
Yeah, I wonder what that's all about, but they're changing all four tyres. Well,
yeah, whether they're looking for another problem or and he's trying to work, because he's out of the points now, so they need to be just working on the car and checking it for races 2 and 3. But yeah, that's really bad luck.
There's Chilton for his drive-through penalty then. So he must have used that excess track a little too often at Copse Corner, and they said they would be strict about it, and surely he has now lost any chance of getting past Nash, that's for sure. It's given Nash a bit of breathing space.
Yeah, that's very good for Nash, because it's taken the heat off him massively, and this is a perfect result for him. He's only 2 places behind Matt Jackson. He's not dropping too many points in the independent, and he's now got no pressure at all. He can stay off the curbs and drive a nice tidy race.
Yeah, you see Nash in the background as Jackson's still getting close to the back of Matt Neal. There you are, on board with Matt Neal. Lovely shot. Look how much curve they use as they go through the left-hander at Brooklands. Now into Luffield. Long looping right-hander. Great viewing on the outside. Fantastic to see so many people enjoying the climax to the season here at Silverstone today. And Matt Jackson just trying to inch closer, just millimetre by millimetre, virtually trying to close up to Matt Neal to put the attack on him. But can he find a way past that Honda? And don't forget, he's still got Gordon Shedden right in his mirrors.
Yeah, Matt Jackson, though, is driving very tidily, staying off most of the curbs. He's not running wide. He's really looking after that car. James Thompson watching from the motorbase pit, and well, they're very excited to see Jackson running so strongly. Yeah,
he's doing a fantastic job at the moment. We saw John George, I think it was, it was O'Neill, sorry, it was Paul O'Neill parked off on the side of the road at Copse Corner. So Paul O'Neill sadly out of this race. He was quite a long way down the order anyway, but something's gone wrong for the Chevy. Not the Chevy that's out of this race. Well, Plato rejoining. There is O'Neill's car. Just saw it stopped on the outside of Copse Corner. So not a good day for Paul either, as Matt Neal still defending this lead from Matt Jackson. Shedden still in 3rd. And then Nash, Onslow, Cole, Neat, McDowell is in 7th place. Jordan still in 8th. Newsham is in 9th and Bourman is 10th.
Yeah, there'll be a yellow flag there at Copse while they recover that Paul O'Neill car. I don't think that was overtaking place particularly for Jackson anyway.
No, just see it being recovered in the background. We're looking back from Matt Neal's point of view. It's a good drive this so far from Matt Neal, you have to say. Absolutely beautiful the way he's controlled the pace, and he's kept Matt Jackson from even really having much of a look. Lights on Matt's car, but not sure it's going to make much difference. Now, McDowell has managed to get past Neat. Oh, and that's how he did it.
Yeah, very nice, very neatly done, you could say. But, I mean, I think there may have been a touch just there going to Luffield, but certainly a lot of judicious use of the inside of the track by... And I was watching Jackson do exactly the same at Brooklands.
I was just thinking, I mean, he's beginning to really position that car as if, look, I'm really sizing myself up for a go here. You know, he's got less to lose in a way, to absolutely go for it. He wants to try and keep his title hopes alive, and to do that, he has to beat Matt Neal. He will not have enough points if he finishes 2nd to Matt Neal in this race to still keep his hopes alive. So he's, in a way, he's got to take the risk.
He's got to take the risk, and race wins are always very valuable at the end of the year prior to going into the winter layoff. Everybody remembers the last meeting. Certainly if you go in with race wins, it's really good. Is Shedden just playing a waiting game? Is he hoping that Matt Jackson will really attack Matt Neal and gift him an opportunity?
This is interesting. Plato's just up ahead of him. Plato had to come in again, swapping his tyres around. They were trying to get their pressures right. Now Plato is just up ahead of them. Matt Neal catching up. Of course, we all know what great rivalry there exists, but there you are, Jason actually coming in, I think. Jason coming right into the pits. He's not going to get mixed up in this. He's trying to sort out his own problems today.
Yeah, well, that's just as well. I'd hate to have seen him get involved in any shenanigans there. We don't know what we would have seen otherwise.
Now, what's been going on here? This is McDowell, Jordan and Newsham. Oh, and there was a collision there between Newsham and Jordan, and that's allowed Bourman and Collard to go through. I think Jordan recovered, but he's obviously lost a bunch of places. Chris James now being lapped by the leaders. Gordon Shetton trying to go around the blue Chevy Lassetti that's been in for a drive-through, and they all sneak past.
Just get through there. Shedden was the one who lost most. Oh, broken rear suspension on Bourman's car. Now,
right.
He was involved in that little collision going into Brooklands, so he obviously picked up a little broken rear toe link there.
Yeah, great shame. They were running very well yesterday in free practice. Plato back in once again. So whatever they're doing, they're trying to sort that car out.
Interesting, they have Mickey Butler taking some tyre temperature off the car, so maybe they're just checking some actual running temperatures, checking whether they got the setup right and how that relates to the tyre temperatures with Mickey Butler.
Now look at the points. If they were to finish as they are now, of course Plato wouldn't score, he'd still be on 220. Shedden scoring 10 on 230, and Matt Neal liable to score 17 points, would be on 242. That would give him a 12-point advantage going into the second race of the day. Still not enough though, that's for sure, to win the championship. Matt Jackson would be on 202. Now I don't think that would be enough then for him to be close enough to still challenge, but of course then he'd have to focus on beating James Nash in the independence chase. But let's think about that afterwards. Right now Matt Jackson knows he's got to try and find a way past Matt Neal, and as you say, Shetton's still there in the hunt waiting to see what happens.
I do think into Brooklands here and into the next corner, Luffield is the only chance Matt Jackson's got. It may take a little tap there and a dive up the inside to do it, and is Matt going to attempt that kind of a rash move? I don't know, but it looks to be the only place he's really close enough to Matt Neal to do anything.
Yeah, so drive-through for Jeff Smith just being announced as they come down.
That may actually be for the incident where he tagged the back of, I think it was Jordan's car at Brooklands.
Yeah, so that possibly that, or it could have been running wide like the others were earlier. All four wheels off applies on the inside, presumably, as well as it does on the outside of a corner.
Yeah, I don't think they have observers, though, to actually observe whether you're all four wheels across the inside. Oh!
Yeah, that was
he's lost a lot of ground. Oh, and Shedden through.
Shedden's taken second place. Shedden goes past Matt Jackson. Now, it's interesting that I thought Matt Neal had made a tiny error up there, and then as we were riding on board with Matt Jackson,
he's got a puncture.
Puncture right rear on Matt Jackson. Look, sorry,
right front.
And that is the end of any championship hopes for Matt Jackson. His title hopes are completely gone. No doubt about that. He cannot now win the championship. Well, not if Matt Neal continues to win this race. So a second puncture, Tim, and that is going to be crucial. Let's take a look at this.
Yeah, locked up on the way into Beckett's, and that was why Shedden just drove past. In a way, I'm not surprised, because Matt Jackson's been taking enormous liberties with the inside of the track. And, well, it's the left front that goes, not the right.
Yeah.
Matt's been taking so much inside curve that he's obviously got a problem now there with the puncture.
Well, he had to go risky. Maybe they were a bit more daring on setup. You know, maybe they were not as safe as they sometimes run for the long race. But they had to go for it. You've got to applaud them for that. But unfortunately, that's it for Matt Jackson's hopes of winning the overall championship. And now his chances also of winning the Independence Championship are pretty low. But Matt Neal and Gordon Shetton are now heading for a 1-2. And of course, in terms of the championship, Honda they're all looking very anxious down there. But this is the perfect start to their day. I mean, what could be better than a 1-2 finish for them? And as they come around this time, they'll be going on to the last lap. Now, James Nash, of course, has been promoted to third place as a result of Matt Jackson going out of this race. Jackson in the pits, there's Nash in the background, so he will win the Independence class to further extend his lead in the Independence Trophy and get ever closer to winning that particular title. Thomas O'Cole has done well because he's come up to fourth place now, ahead of McDowell. Dave Newsham is up in sixth, Jordan is seventh, Andy Neat has dropped back during this race, he's down in eighth, Collard is ninth, Rathel has come up to 10th, and of course, well, the dramas of the punctures have certainly changed things up front. It is Matt Neal who's heading towards victory.
Yeah, and perfect for Team Honda Racing, because two of their main rivals have had problems, both with punctures, Plato and Jackson. This is maximum points for Honda, maximum points for Matt Neal and Gordon Shetton. The perfect start to their difficult day.
Matt Neal comes out of the final corner just ahead of his teammate. It's going to be a Honda 1-2, and Matt Neal takes his 7th win of the season, Honda's 12th victory of 2011, to firmly put himself at the top of the championship table. Then look at this battle going further back. It's Collard with Neat and Rathel. They're all battling over 9th place. Collard, I think, is going to take 9th. Rathel comes through, does he? Oh, on the line, it's no, Neat got the decision according to the timekeepers. So John George also trying to get past Liam Griffin. This is great stuff all the way to the flag, and John George in the Go Mobile Chevy is going to finish just ahead of Liam Griffin. Good job there. Ollie Jackson, of course, got spun around at the start. He does finish the race in 16th place, but Matt Neal, what a decisive and impressive performance that was. Let's see if we can get a very quick word with Matt. We haven't checked our communications yet, but hopefully it'll work. Matt, this is Ben in the combox. Well done. That was beautifully driven. It puts you a step closer, sir.
Thanks, Ben. Matt and the Airways Ford, they were on fire for a bit there. They were really pushing hard, and they got the extra speed. Just managed to keep it tight and keep it clean.
And with Plato out, it looks more and more like it's going to be you versus Gordon for this title.
I know it's not going to be over till the end one, mate. So till the fat lady sings, as they say.
Okay, well done on that race. Great job by Matt Neal, who takes victory then, and he gets the bonus point for leading. Now, interestingly, they didn't swap the two around. They didn't really have time.
They didn't really have time with only one lap to go. And in all honesty, would you do that anyway now? Because really and truly, it's it's down to the two of them, and I think they should be left for them to sort it out. Don't forget, once we have a reverse grid, after the second race, that could really change things. So Gordon Shedden finishing second is not out of it by any means.
No, that's right. He hasn't lost too many points on this one. Let's take a look at the result after the first race then. Matt Neal takes the victory from Gordon Shedden. It's a Honda 1-2. James Nash a superb third to maintain and extend, in fact, his independent drivers' championship hopes. Tom Onslow Cole finished 4th, McDowell 5th, Newsham 6th, then Andrew Jordan, Rob Collard, Andy Neat and Frank Rathel, who all fought over the line for that final point. Just outside the points then, Dan Welsh at the Proton, Tom Chilton, Nick Foster and John George, who sneaked ahead of Liam Griffin at the end there. Ollie Jackson, Jeff Smith, Lee Wood, Tony Hughes and Matt Jackson classified 20th despite the puncture, and Jason Plato classified in 25th, but of course that is where he'll have to start race 2. Now let's just see as the guys head back in towards the pit lane, of course, the points. Matt Neal now has this 10-point advantage over his teammate Gordon Shedden, but there are now 22 points between Matt Neal and Jason Plato. There are still 34 available, so Jason Plato is still mathematically in the hunt, but James Nash and Matt Jackson have now dropped out of it. So neither Nash nor Jackson can win this title anymore. It is between Neal, Shedden and Plato, and you have to say, looking at that it's very much between the two Honda teammates.
Absolutely. Just got to obviously make sure they pass their final checks, ride height checks and everything else, but I'm sure they'll be fine, and that is step one achieved for Honda Racing, and it is a step-by-step process. And of course, Matt being able to win that race with maximum ballast is actually how he'll start the second race. Gordon Shedden will actually carry a little more ballast into the second race. He had 27 kilos on for that race because he shared second place with Plato, but in the start of the second race now, he'll be carrying 36. So this is very much advantage Matt Neal.
Definitely a superb start to the day then for Matt Neal as he clambers out of the car. It could not have gone better than that. This weekend has been perfect so far. He got pole position on Saturday in an absolutely superbly timed lap. He's taken the victory under immense pressure for much of that race from Matt Jackson, and he has beaten his teammate at the end of the day, Gordon Shedden. James Nash, of course, don't forget, picking up the final podium place. But there's a big hug waiting for Matt. That, as you say, though, is just step one. Let's get down to the pits and get some reaction now with Louise. Thank you very much, Simon. So cars all set up then, ready for this second race of the day. Now, for Matt Neal to actually wrap up the championship in this race will be hard, with Gordon Shedden right up there with him, of course. He'd have to finish the race some 17 points ahead. He's currently got a 10-point advantage. If Shedden is somewhere near him, then it will all go down to that final race of the day. But the other guys who were involved earlier on, particularly Jason Plato, of course, has a massive amount of work to do. He will be starting back on the 13th row of the grid. And lovely little logo on the back there, Tim, of the Hondas this
Yes,
weekend.
I think probably the person that's aimed at is too far behind to see it, and Mr. Plato a long way back on the grid, but clearly Honda enjoying the fact they have turbo power around here.
Yes, and it seems to be working very well for them, although the Fords are actually the fastest cars in a straight line. But Jason Plato, there he is, then back on the 13th row of the grid with a massive amount of work to do. That's Paul O'Neill just with him as well, because they had a problem with that car as well in the first race. So sadly he starts down at the back. James Thompson right down at the back. Tony Gillam's car is on the grid, which is great news after the accident that he suffered earlier on. So this is how they'll line up then. Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden, the two Honda teammates, on the front row together, looking to control the second race of the day as they did the first. James Nash and Tom Onslow-Cole on row 2. Then Alex McDowell and Dave Newsham. Good starting position that for Newsham. Andrew Jordan and Rob Collard are on row 4 with the Vauxhall versus the BMW. Then Andy Neate in the Team A on Ford and Frank Raffel in the Dynajet car. Dan Welsh in the Proton. Tom Chilton, who had that drive-through penalty earlier, remember. Row 7 sees Nick Foster and John George. Liam Griffin and Ollie Jackson on row 8. Row 9, Jeff Smith and Lee Wood. Final event for the Honda Integra, by the way. Let's remember that. Tony Hughes and Matt Jackson on row 10. Row 11, Chris James and Chris Swanwick. Tom Foreman and Martin Byford in the Golf on row 12. There's Plato back on row 13 with Paul O'Neill. James Thompson right behind, so that's quite fun. We might get a Plato-Thompson battle going on there. Rob Austin and Tony Gillam and John Thorne at the back. I don't think John's actually on the grid this time in the Thorny Motorsport Vauxhall Insignia, but it's great that they got the car to the event. And by the way, in the medical car, driving the medical car that's at the back of the field is a certain John Cleland.
Yes, I remember him back in 1992, jumping up and down in the gravel trap.
Your championship win here, of course, Tim. It's another famous Silverstone moment, but we could be on for another Silverstone famous moment today. Matt Neal looking to become the first 3 times winner of the British Touring Car Championships since Andy Rouse in the mid-80s. I mean, to take 3 titles is a massive thing for Gordon Shedden. He's still looking for his first.
Yeah, I think this is a bit of a crunch race for Gordon, really. I think he's got to attack this time and try and win the race, because if he doesn't beat Matt in this race, it's a real long shot, isn't it? Even if he beats Matt and Matt can finish second behind him in both races, it's still good enough for Matt. But of course, if Shedden's leading and Matt's behind, there's other people that could get involved in the fight. But you know, I don't think any of the cars immediately behind really have the pace of these two Hondas. So you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they get a nice 1-2 again together.
Well, there's a massive presence for Honda here today at Silverstone this weekend. Huge number of guests as well as the team all gathered together to see what's going to happen. Are they going to be able to wrap it all up? And remember, manufacturers and teams titles are basically one. Just they've got to get through the next couple of races, make sure they don't use too many extra engines. You lose points for extra engines and all that sort of thing. But fundamentally they have it sorted, and they want to take that Drivers' Championship as well, of course, and it looks good that at least one of them is going to be doing that. Jason Plato has it all to do, there's no doubt about it. He still has a huge number of supporters out there, I know, who will be cheering Jason till the last and hoping that he's going to be able to spring a surprise in this second race of the day. The Chevy guys have worked so hard to keep him in the hunt. At several stages this year he seemed to have dropped too far behind the Hondas, but then Brands Hatch last time out put him right back up there.
Yeah, but of course Brands started with him on pole and the two Hondas retiring from race 1. Couldn't be more different this race. Shedden's certainly got his support here, a long way down south of the border. Obviously those guys come a long way, but he's really got to pull something out in this race to try and give himself a chance into the last one.
Yeah, of course, John Cleland was the last Scot to win the British Touring Car title, a double winner himself. And the last time he won it was back in 1995. But there's a double champion, the reigning champion, Jason Plato. Can he do anything then in this second race of the day to keep his championship hopes alive? He's still mathematically in the hunt at the moment, but he needs a bit of a miracle now in race number 2 to take it all the way through to the finale, the final race of the afternoon. So he's bringing the car up into position. And we're getting all set then for round 29, the penultimate race of the 2011 championship. Here at Silverstone, Matt Neal in pole position with the Honda. Gordon Shedden second place. Can they make it another 1-2? And watch for the middle of the field for any action there as well. Lights out, away we go. Not a brilliant getaway by either Honda. James Nash getting away well, and Rob Collard, a great start. further back down the field, it's clean, unlike the first race. Oh, Shedden, then Neil, that was in trouble. Gordon Shedden has taken the lead. Shedden has taken the lead, and Matt Neil was almost in big trouble through the first corner.
Yeah, Matt Neil, I think when we see the replay, got a lot of wheel spin off the line, and certainly that's given the advantage to Shedden. Oh, and contact at the back, gnashing to the back of, straight to the back of Matt Neil, but this is a good start for Shedden, just what he wanted.
Yeah, this is perfect for the Scot. Gordon Shedden starting from second, but he now leads this race, and Tom Onslow Cole has moved up into second place. Great start from Onslow Cole from fourth place, and Onslow Cole trying to defend and hold that second place. James Nash, who is now the independent drivers champion as a result, and there was a slide from one of the other Team Aon's Fords which just about got it back, but around it goes in the middle. Chilton, that is in trouble. Door open on Frank Rathell's car as well, so it's all gone off as they went through the left-hander at Brooklyn.
Well, the door's managed to shut itself. Let's hope it stays shut. Oh no, it's not going to. That's going to result in a black and orange penalty flag, I'm sure, for Rathell's car, and he was in a good position.
Yeah, Shedden leads from Onslow Cole and Matt Neil, with James Nash still in fourth place. There's Tony Gillan struggling. He was in the barrier earlier, no fault of his, of course. They've got the car back out, but he's struggling. And a puncture once again. Oh, what a disaster this is proving to be for the Airways team. Matt Jackson, it's just so disappointing, and it's all gone horribly wrong for them at the end of their campaign. But up front, it is Gordon Shedden who still leads from Tom Onslow Cole, and Matt Neil trying to get a bit closer. Then James Nash, Dave Newsham going well in the yellow Seat. He's running in fifth place, and watch Jason Plater. Where's he got to? Well, at the moment he's still quite a long way down the order. Oh, one of the BMWs off. That was Foster, I think, but he got back on again. Look at them all bunched up at the back of the field. Plater's in the middle of that lot, battling with James Thompson.
Yeah, and this is good for Shedden, as I said at the front. 10 points the difference between first and third, so it does make a big difference at this point. And Onslow Cole in the Ford in second. That car is quick on the straight, so it's not going to be easy for Matt Neil to get past. And Matt Neil's carrying that 45, 6 kilos of ballast. Good move by Plato up the inside.
Yeah, that was getting past Lee Wood, who stayed out of the way, and Plato here battling away as he tries to move up through the order. And that's the youngster Chris Swanwick, who's only in his second ever British touring car event. Plato gives him a little bit of a nudge going into Beckett's corner. Welcome to touring cars. You've got the reigning champion bearing down on you, young Chris, but at the moment he's holding off well in the Audi.
Yeah, that was Now that's probably Jackson just come out of the pits, or is it Griffin? I'm not sure. I think it's Jackson it's Jackson come back out of the pits with another tyre on and trying his best to puncture it by driving over the inside of the track again.
Matt Neil you're riding with right now, he's in third place, so he's got his teammate leading this race, and that 10-point advantage being eroded as things stand. But can the Ford of Onslow Cole fend off Matt Neil in the Honda? That's the question. Let's take another look at the start. Not a good getaway by Matt Neil.
No, great getaway by Rob Collard, surging through the middle of the row in front, and further back that was a big jump start, it looked like, didn't it, from Paul O'Neill?
Yeah, he was well away, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Plato got left behind by everyone else as well. Looked like a poor start from Plato, but Onslow Cole has just set fastest lap, interestingly, on that last lap, although Shedden now going quickly, so it's Shedden who leads. Onslow Cole in second. O'Neill is in anyway, so even if he were to be penalised for that jump start, wouldn't make much difference. It looked like a jump start. And Onslow Cole sideways, and Matt Neil goes back into second place. Matt Neil is back into second and is now chasing his teammate.
Yeah, perfect timing there. Matt Neil was just in the right place. Onslow Cole comes into the corner a little bit hot, just gets out wide. I think he may have even touched that little bit of oil that was on the circuit there with some dusting on it. That's let Matt Neil through, and that's crucial because there's only 3 points between first and second, but Neil has fastest lap, which gains a point back.
Yeah, Matt Neil setting the fastest lap. Now, no, he's just been taken by Plato, would you believe? Plato's just taken fastest lap as they've gone over the line. He's 15th is Jason Plato, so where can he get to? And Matt Neil closing up a little bit, just under braking, not much difference on acceleration, of course, as they come out of Beckett. Onslow Cole back to third, Newsham in an excellent fourth, Andrew Jordan is fifth, Rob Collard sixth, Chilton is running in seventh, despite that moment a lap or so ago. Boardman is eighth, Dan Welsh is running ninth, and Liam Griffin in 10th, although I think that might change because you've got a whole gaggle of cars. Alex McDowell, James Nash, who well down the pack now. There's Martin Byford and Frank Rathell both in the pits. Oh, and look at this real concertina affair going on here.
Right, it was all running into the back of each other. Griffin is at the head of this group, and it looked like everybody was running into each other, and Plato's right in the mix there.
So Plato trying to take advantage and maybe able to get past James Nash here. So James Nash, having won the Independence title in that first race, now not looking so good in this one, but he's got the driver's title wrapped up. Of course, they're still trying to win the team's title from Airwaves, but we've seen Matt Jackson in trouble already in this race, so Triple Eight will still be in good shape. On board with Nash, as Plato went very wide. You can do it a few times, but if you do it too often, you get a drive-through penalty, and that's what happened to Tom Chilton earlier today. Up towards Beckett's they come then, and Plato might be able to gain another place here. I think he's through. Yeah, he's done Nick Foster on the inside as they exit the corner, and he's got his own teammate now, Alex McDowell, next on the list.
Yeah, Plato really absolutely flying. And well, black and orange flag for car 14, that's actually Nash, but we'll watch to see if Plato gets a warning, because he will maximise the opportunity there to carry more speed through turn 1.
McDowell looking, I think he's carrying a bit of damage on the right-hand side of the car, but the car seems to be going reasonably well. Plato chases him as they come out of Luffield Corner. We are on lap 7 out of 22, so 1/3 distance in this second race of the day. It's still Shedden leading. Black and white flag for car number 1, Plato, so he can't afford to go over that edging anymore, which his teammates just done. You can't do that more than 3 times before you get a black and white flag. Well, Jason gets the black and white next time, and if he does it again, he has a drive-through penalty.
But did you see how much quicker it was when McDowell did that? He pulled out quite a big chunk just by carrying that extra speed, but it is a deliberate action. Look at this, Neil right on the back of Shedden.
He's going for it, it's Matt Neal. He's not content to just sit behind Gordon Shedden at this stage. Matt Neal is flying here at Silverstone this weekend despite carrying maximum ballast. Martin Byford's Golf has come out from the pits just up ahead of them. You can see the car ahead, that is Martin Byford, but he's been into the pit lane, and I wonder if he's going to be a factor. I'm sure he'll move out of the way once he sees the Hondas bearing down on him, and it's Shedden leading from Matt Neal in second, Onslow Cole in third. Newsham and Jeff Smith in trouble there. There was, I think, a bit of contact with someone else along the way. Difficult to work out exactly what happened. Let's see. In the battle there with James Thompson was on the inside. Smith and Rob Austin were running together. That reminds me of...
That was exactly 1992, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
That was shades of Soper and Fellon.
It was
bizarre, isn't it?
And Byford hopefully going to, just move out the way here. He didn't end up in the gravel. That was the only difference to the famous 1992.
Well, he would have done if Steve had been driving, I can tell you that.
What are you telling us? Right, yeah. Shedden still just in front of Matt Neal here, and they managed to get it through the back markers, and Onslow Cole trying to chase them.
Yeah, I mean, this is great to see that Matt Neal is really pushing. I mean, he's on a high, and he just wants to do so well. He could really easily sit behind him, but Matt's taking a few risks. He's cutting a few corners and running on the inside of curbs, and he doesn't want to do that.
No, you're right. We've seen the punctures today already, haven't we, for the likes of Matt Jackson and Jason Plato. Plato, by the way, has got up to 12th by now. So McDowell is running 11th. Plato is in 12th place, but is it going to be enough? He's got to continue that progress to have any kind of hope. He's not in the points yet in Plato, so he's got to try and move up. Matt Neal again closes up a little to the back of Gordon Shedden under braking, and in the background you can see Tom Onslow Cole in the blue and white Ford. Running 4th is Newsham in the Seat, not the red and black Golf. That's a lap down, as we know. There's Newsham with the lights ablaze on the Seat. This is a very good run from him. Behind him is Andrew Jordan. Rob Collard leads the next group, which is got Tom Borman and Dan Welsh going well in the Proton. Well, actually, he's dropped a couple of places on this lap. So Welsh there has dropped a couple of places, and I think Plato's ahead of McDowell as they just went through. So Plato now 11th, McDowell is in 12th.
Yeah, but Liam Griffin's still in front of Plato. Really good run this by Liam Griffin into the top 10. It's great to see.
Yeah, so another Airwaves car. It might make a difference because Airwaves need as many points as possible, and it's their top scoring car that will earn their team points. And there is Griffin trying to defend now from Jason Plato. I can't imagine he's going to struggle too hard, but let's wait and see. The Ford is very fast in a straight line, the fastest car through the speed traps this weekend, so this won't be easy for Plato.
It won't be easy, but Plato's car's very good on the brakes, and I'm not sure where the best place is, because, well, certainly he's close here, but we can see the gap extend as they go out onto the long back straight. Griffin's run wide over the curb. That gives Plato a chance.
Yeah, so he gets alongside, but now watch the straight line speed. This will be interesting as they come down the Wellington straight towards Brooklands. The Ford stays ahead for the moment, but will Plato be brave and go all the way around the outside into the left-hander here at Brooklands? He's going to go for it, yeah. and actually makes it fairly comfortable because Griffin keeps tight to the inside there. McDowell will try and follow through. He might make it a bit harder for McDowell though, because they're fighting here for position, remember, and McDowell's got the nose alongside, could finish the move off as they come through Woodcote, still not quite there, and as they come across the line, who's it going to be? Plato is going to be 10th, and as they come across the line, it's Griffin 11th, McDowell in 12th.
Yeah, but McDowell now through because he's on the inside, and coming up immediately behind is Nick Foster, who's also got a run through Cox on Griffin.
Yeah, so Griffin is dropping back out of the points now. In the background you can just see the two 888 cars of Ollie Jackson running 14th and James Nash down in 15th place now, as still Gordon Shedden leads from Matt Neal. The Hondas are ruling the roost here at Silverstone today so far. You're on board with Matt Neal, who is hoping to become a triple champion, and of course to do that he's got to beat Gordon Shedden over the course of the day, but he's got the points advantage. He can just sit there if he wants and then hope it all comes together for him in the final race of the day.
Yeah, and Matt Neal does have the fastest lap of the race, the only person in the 59s, the 59.990, which beat the previous lap that Plato did, so the fastest lap point will go to Neal, although Shedden has the extra point for leading the race.
Yep, so that means the difference will come back to the 3 points between finishing first and second, as they both pick up a bonus point. But a 7-point gap that will still give to Matt Neal going into the final race. I mean, it's a good margin. It's not totally comfortable though.
It's not depending on the reverse grid. I mean, worst case scenario is that running over some debris there, just running over some debris, but hopefully that won't cause a puncture. But here's the positions as they stand. Matt Neal will be plus 12, so go to 254 points. Gordon Shedden will be plus 16, go to 248. But if, for the sake of argument, the top 10 cars get reversed for race 3, it gives them a lot more work to do.
Yeah.
So, if it's the top 6, it's a bit easier. So the reverse race grid is traditionally the hardest race to come from the back as a race winner, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, I don't think that calculation assumes fastest lap. Oh, in fact, because fastest lap's now gone to Matt Jackson. That's why Matt Jackson got fastest lap from Matt Neal at 59.9. So after making that pit stop, Jackson has been going very quickly indeed.
Yeah, you're right. He's not on the lead screen. The lead screen, the head screen we were looking at was covered in penalty flags warning, so I couldn't see the fastest lap. But right. Yeah, Jackson's got that point back. Yeah,
so Jackson the fastest man on track, but he's a long way down the order because of that pit stop earlier. The two Hondas are still up front with the Ford in third. There's a battle beginning to develop, I think, for fourth place between Newsham and Jordan, although they're not quite as close as these two. But Newsham is now coming under a bit of pressure from Andrew Jordan behind. Tom Boardman still in 6th place. Chilton is in 7th. Collard is currently 8th. Welsh being shown as 9th still. Plato 10th. We'll check that as they come back past us once more, as the top 3 come through. And now this is Welsh a moment ago with Nick Foster. That's not quite what they were planning, I don't think.
No, that looked fairly sizable, didn't it?
So I think he will have lost a place. Yeah, that's brought Plato up to 8th now as a result of that little incident, because Welsh has dropped to 10th. Griffin is now down to 11th. So Plato's in. Oh, and Nick Foster's had a big shot.
Coming on to the start-finish straight. That's coming through Woodcote. So I don't know what's happened there. Presumably they were side by side or something coming out of Woodcote. But you're right. I'm sure the safety car will come out.
Yeah, I'm sure the safety car will be out for that one, because he's only just on. There are bits of debris all over the place in front of our commentary box. He's stopped just outside our window. He's got it going again. He's moving the car off. Oh, he's done well there. He's moved it offline and he's trying to get it out of the way. But the safety car is already on circuit, which is absolutely the right thing to do. This will close everybody up, and there is still, I can tell you, an awful lot of debris. Look at it. Look at it.
Well, there's actually no way through that without running over some of them. So they're going to have, look, they're all trying to find a way through that.
That's a real worry, isn't it?
Yeah, a real worry, because there's everyone else coming through.
Tyres are fully up to temperature, sticky.
Yeah, sticky, and all those shards of metal and carbon fibre, very dangerous for the tyres.
So this is a worrying moment for everybody. Will they get a cut tyre? The last time they need it is right now, is to suffer a cut tyre. Gordon Shedden is leading here and is under safety car. Let's just see if we can find out what happened here. Wow.
Well, it looked like Foster had lost it almost on his own and then got collected, but we didn't see it early enough in the round the corner to see what had caused Foster to spin.
No,
Very odd place to go, though.
Very unusual accident, that. So difficult one to try and work out what exactly went on. So Gordon Shedden is out in front now. I wonder how he's feeling in that car at the moment, leading his teammate. Let's see if we can. Well, he's chatting away to his team at the moment.
Yeah, there'll be a lot for them to talk about. You know, see if the car feels all right on his tyres. The team will be telling him probably where to drive next time he comes round, where the safest line is through that debris. There'll be a lot of radio chatter at the moment.
Yeah, so we'll let the team just chat away. Matt Neal in second place, also being told where to be and where not to be. Actually, I'll tell you what, the marshal's done a great job, because as far as I can see, looking out the window now, it is virtually clear. Somebody coming into the pits, but I think that was one of the slower cars. But the marshals, as ever, looking after British Motorsport, the volunteers who keep the whole thing running, and they've cleared up that track remarkably quickly, and hopefully that means that it won't be too long before we can go racing once again. So let's see, I think they've all stopped chatting over the radio, so we might be able to grab a quick word with Gordon. Gordon looking good out in front at the moment, but I tell you what, Matt Neal's not giving up, is he?
No, not at all. But car feels pretty good. You know, Matt's obviously sitting in the wheel tracks, but he's got to get past first, doesn't he?
Absolutely right, and hopefully you managed to avoid the worst of the debris as you came around onto start-finish there.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like quite a mess. I picked the only way through, obviously me being the first car. I'm the guinea pig, I'm in it, but it's just your luck in these situations, unfortunately. I hope I've not sliced a tyre or anything.
Well, we hope so too, so good luck for the rest of the race. Gordon Shedden there, leading the queue around behind safety car. Of course, this will open things up for some pretty fierce racing, and Plato has been helped by this, Tim.
Yeah, hugely, because he's already up to 8th place, but of course he'll be closer relatively in track position to the front than he would have been otherwise, and he has been flying.
Yeah, no, he's been going well. So Plato now in 8th place. He'll be behind Chilton, ironically. He was sort of dicing away with him earlier on today as well. He'll be behind Chilton and Boardman when the race gets underway. They may have some lap traffic in there, actually. Rathel seems to be between them, doesn't he? So he's been into the pits and back out again, so that's not going to help Plato. Yeah, definitely Rathel running between Chilton and Plato. And I noticed a fair bit of damage on the side of Chilton's car. We saw him pitched sideways early on in this race, and there's some damage to the door on Tom Chilton's car, but it doesn't seem to be slowing him down at all. The rest of the field coming through. Tony Hughes just coming through. Rob Pollard, don't quite know what happened to him. Put him right down at the back, but it's been an action-packed race. Just on this side you can just see there's some damage on the door where the car's been hit, but I don't think it's nowhere near the suspension, so hopefully that won't affect the handling of the car.
Nasty gouge in the side, not sure how easy that will be to repair, but it certainly shouldn't have affected the subframes or the running gear.
Lights are out on the safety car, so they will be going racing when they come back past us. Let's not forget Tom Onslow Cole's position here. He's still running in a good third position run. He won the third race of the day here last year after leading, in fact, in the earlier races, but having to give way virtually to Tom Chilton. But he is fast at Silverstone. The Hondas, however, seem to have pace that's the better of anybody this weekend. Let's see what happens on the restart. Safety car peels off, and we're racing once again on board with Matt Neal. That's a good restart by Gordon Shedden. Yeah,
Gordon Shedden went as he came out of Brooklands, just caught Matt Neal napping a little bit as a bit of debris gets flicked up from the back of Shedden's car, but yes, certainly a great restart by Gordon.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Onslow Cole was right behind Matt Neal as they got going then. You can see Onslow Cole, look, in the blue and white Ford, definitely moving around a touch. He's not really close enough to have a go as they come through Maggots and under braking into the Beckett's hairpin. But Dave Newsham staying right there with these top four, although having to defend from Andrew Jordan behind. So real mix here. We've got the two Hondas, but then you've got a Ford, the Seat, the Vauxhall, another Seat, and then the new Global Focus, which is that of Tom Chilton's, running 7th. And then Jason Plato, who's behind the Toyota of Frank Rathel, but that Toyota has been lapped. James Nash trying to make a move on Liam Griffin as they come down through Brooklands corner. Nash looking to get into 11th place, but Griffin is being fairly resolute in his defence here.
Yeah, good defence by Liam Griffin there, just letting the car go a little bit wide through Brooklands so he didn't get tagged into a spin and having the inside line into Luffield.
New race distance of 25 laps now that we've had the safety car out. You're on board with James Nash as he tries to get past Liam Griffin, And these two just outside the points, as I mentioned. So Nasher, who lost out in the early laps after running very competitively, had a great podium in the first race, now desperately trying to get back on terms, and of course really looking to move up 3 or 4 places to give himself a chance on the reverse grid race. But has he got a chance here? No, can't quite get inside. Griffin, who goes wide again.
Yeah, that could give him the chance, especially with it fairly evenly matched turbo cars down the straight. I see Dave Newsham and Chilton again have had the black and orange warning flag, so they'll have to be careful. Chilton certainly won't want to get a second penalty. Side by side coming down here.
Oh, this is all getting a bit fraught. Ollie Jackson on the inside, Andy Neate in car 44 on the outside, the other Ford, and now Nash has got down the... Oh, is there contact? There is a touch, and Andy Neate's going to try and take full advantage on the inside there. Rob Austin and the Audis at the back of the group as well, and James Nash desperately clinging on at the front of the group, but Andy Neate's on his inside. They make side-to-side contact there, and out goes Nash, and that gives Andy Neate the lead of the group, and that puts Neate into 11th place. What a fight this is. There's not even any points on offer. Oh no, Nash gets it with Griffin, and he goes sideways, but he catches it.
Just hold it. Griffin was on the inside, in fairness to him, when Nash came into the corner after bunching through Woodcote. So it's great side-by-side racing.
Oh, it's good
Ollie Jackson into the back now of
Matt Jackson.
Matt Jackson, yeah.
Jackson's in that as
against
well.
Jackson.
So it's the two Jacksons. That's going to really confuse us now. So Andy Neate at the front of this little group in the Team A on Ford, chased by Liam Griffin, who's having one of his best races of the season. I have to say, Griffin really enjoying and relishing the Silverstone National Circuit. He's got Rob Austin behind him in the Audi, and then Matt Jackson and Ollie Jackson, then James Nash a little bit further behind. Of course, Matt Jackson is a lap down on this group because of his incident earlier. Thompson now has been off.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything remarkable from James yet this weekend. He's sort of struggled in... he's come in really deep, locked up on the rear, just slid wide. Good car control though.
Yeah, got the front wheels pointing in the right direction. His rallying experience coming to good effect there, and off he goes. So Shedden still leads this race. We're on lap 21 out of 25 now, and Shedden from Neil, the gap just only 0.6 of a second. Plato still in that group, but he's got rid of Rathel now. Rathel's dropped back a little bit, but that Plato's still in 8th. He's got to get past Chilton and Boardman and Andrew Jordan if he's really going to have an impact on this race. Remember, the reverse grid could have a big effect. He is in 8th place, so he's on target for a reverse grid boost, but might miss out. And here he's got a chance now on Chilton. Plato on Chilton, can he go through? He's squeezing past, and it looks as though he might, but now of course the Ford strength is on the straight.
It is on the straight. Jason's got to stay close enough up the inside to have the inside into Cobbs. He's going to have to be brave on the brakes, but I don't think Chilton will turn in on him, and he doesn't.
No, Chilton knows Plato's a major contender, and it's not the time to really fight your quarter once you've lost the place. And Chilton then locked in behind the Chevy once again, and that brings Plato into 7th. So Plato now definitely, with the reverse grid coming up for the final race of the day, in better shape. But remember, for 7th, he's only going to score 4 points here, and 4 points, well, I don't think that's going to be enough, because with Matt Neal heading for 2nd place in this race, that would put Matt on 2.54, and he'd be on 2.24. The gap would be too big for him to make up in race 3, so this just is not enough for Jason Plato.
No, he's fought hard all year, and don't say never, but it's looking like he could be out of the championship fight after this race as the two Hondas smooth serenely on. Neil's dropped back a little bit, still on slow coal in touch though.
Yep, that's right. So Gordon Shedden just with that edge of an advantage now, 3/4 of a second over his teammate. You're looking from Matt Neal, who's got on slow coal close behind him. Still Dave Newsham running in 4th place, Andrew Jordan in 5th. And behind Jordan is still Boardman, then Plato in 7th place, Chilton, McDowell, and Dan Welsh is in 10th position. Lots of black and white warning flags still for some cars who have been using too much verdict crops, but let's just concentrate on what's going on here as Neil still trying to stay in touch with his teammate and stay well ahead of Onslow Cole. No change amongst that front group. Further back you've got Dan Welsh in the Proton, and then the gap back to Liam Griffin, Andy Neate. Austin's car looking a little bit wayward there, looking to be handling quite right. In fact, and as he comes down through, there is Griffin. So I was looking at the other Airwaves car further up the order a moment ago. James Nash battling now with Jeff Smith for 15th place.
Yeah, I reckon James Nash is wilting under that injury. Now the success of winning the Indy Championship is sunk in. He's probably just wilting a little bit there.
Yeah,
look at that, a Vulcan bomber flying overhead. You don't see that very often, but it's still a glorious sight.
Yeah, lovely to see that. That's going on above as we focus on the championship contest on the track here, with Gordon Shedden heading for victory by the looks of things. Honda looking at yet another 1-2 finish. What a stunning performance from these Hondas we've seen so far this weekend, and indeed throughout the course of the season, switching to turbo cars this year, and they have done an absolutely astounding job. McDowell still trying to chase down Tom Chilton. Further back we've got Griffin, and he's battling with another one of the Team Aon Fords. Lots of brake knocking up as they come into Brooklands corner, but the race leader Gordon Shedden is going to be going on to his final lap as he comes across the line this time, and it does look as though it's going to be Gordon's turn.
It certainly does, and very good effort by Onslow Cole and Dave Newsham in third and fourth. Really good drives. Back in the Honda garage, nobody celebrating too soon. They want to see the cars finish all the races.
Absolutely right, and as they come out of Beckett's this time, it is looking very, very solid for these two. It will go down to the final race of the day, though. There's no doubt the championship is going to be decided in the final race of this 30-race season. It's going to be between these two guys, though, because Jason Plato is too far back to still be in the battle. There will only be 17 points available after this race, and Jason's just going to be too far back. Gordon Shedden comes out of the final turn, and he's going to make it 2 Honda wins out of 2 races, but it's Gordon Shedden who takes the second race win of the day here at Silverstone. Matt Neal finishes in second place. Tom Onslow Cole is an excellent third. Newsham is fourth. Jordan is fifth. Boardman is sixth. So the Seat guys going very well. Plato finishes in seventh, and that is not enough for Jason Plato. He is now on 224 points. But Gordon Shedden is now on 247 points, and it's too much for Plato to be able to make up the difference. And there you see the body language, the reaction. He is a racer to the end, is Jason Plato. He will never give up until it really is out of the question, but sadly now it is beyond him.
Yes, he's put himself in a position to win the championship for 6 years, going into the final race, but it wasn't to be this year. The Hondas have come into this final race just too strong.
The Hondas have been just fantastic here. No one else has got an answer for them. The Fords have been fast, but not fast enough, and they have just been absolutely amazing. So Gordon Shedden winning that race. Let's grab a quick word with him. Gordon, fantastic performance, another stunning job. It's another 1-2 for you Honda guys. Oh, we're not quite catching him there. So we'll come back to him. He's maybe chatting away to the guys on the radio, but we'll hear from him soon enough when he gets out of the car. And it keeps the championship very, very close between these two. And remember, it will be a reverse grid. The question is, how many will be reversed on that grid?
Yeah, looking at the positions, obviously you've got Tom Boardman in 6th, Plato 7th, Chilton 8th, McDowell 9th, and Welch 10th.
So the result, Gordon Shedden the winner by half a second from his teammate Matt Neal for another Honda 1-2, with Team Aon's Tom Onslow Cole getting another podium as he did at Brands. Dave Newsham, an excellent result for special tuning in 4th. His teammate Tom Boardman 6th, and they were split by Andrew Jordan. Jason Plato only 7th in the end, but he came from a long way back. Tom Chilton was 8th, Alex McDowell 9th, and Dan Welsh finished 10th in the Proton. Andy Neat outside the points, as was Rob Austin, Ollie Jackson, Liam Griffin. They all had a fantastic dice. James Nash, Jeff Smith, Lee Wood, Chris Swanick, Tony Gillam and John George. And of course a few cars that went out of the race for varying reasons. It's been a bad day again for Matt Jackson, and also out of luck was Paul O'Neill. So in terms of the standings, it's still now just down to 2 drivers. It's Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden going for the title here, because Jason Plato is just too far back now to be able to win this thing. Matt Jackson is in 4th, tied with James Nash, interestingly. Remember though, James Nash has already won the independence points for the drivers, and I think they'll have wrapped up, the team will have wrapped up the independent team. So well done to Triple Eight. Might not have been a great race for them in the end, but I think they'll have wrapped up that team's Independence Championship. Thank you very much, Simon. Yes, here we are then, the absolute finale to this fantastic season. Honda on top, but Chevrolet's actually, in terms of the grid, Tim, are lining up pretty well. Alex McDowell's on pole, Jason's up there. So we could be in for a pretty exciting race, whatever happens in the championship.
Well, the last race of the year, the last race of the day is always an exciting one, isn't it? Everybody wants to finish the championship on a high. And there are those at the front that would love to win this race. And I hope Jason Plato is one of those. The Hondas will have to watch their battle between them. Clearly, Matt has a comfortable advantage at the moment. But that supposes that he finishes the race, and that's not always an easy thing. If they both finish the race, Gordon, as he said, has got to be at least fourth or fifth with fastest lap, with Matt a long way down.
The nerves are jangling, and you could see it even in Matt Neal. He's a double champion already, and yet he is feeling it. You could see that interview with Simon. Look at the onboard there. There is that sense of anxiety. He wants it. He still has massive hunger. He might have won this twice before, but 2006 was the last time he did it, so it's quite a while. And of course, big rival Jason Plato managed his second last year. He could go on to become a 3-times champion. It's a very select group of drivers that have achieved that.
Yeah, it's a personal thing now. They've done the team thing. They've won all the team's championships. One of the two Honda cars will win the championship. Matt and Gordon are sitting in their cars now. I'd almost be tempted to pull the radio connection out and just focus on my own world and my own race. They know what they've got to do, and it just comes down to the two of them now.
Well, you've been there, Tim. You've been there on this very track, and you've come out the winner. How are you going to call this one?
Well, I've thought from the word go this meeting that of the 3 or 5 drivers even that were in contention at the start, Matt Neal was the one that was clearly focused, that wanted it badly enough. He proved that with pole position with maximum ballast, with a win in the first race with maximum ballast, with a strong race in the second race with maximum ballast. He's the one I think, has really carried himself the best so far, and should start this race clearly with his 6-point advantage, but B, I think with his mental attitude, as favourite to win the championship.
Well, we're about to find out whether he can do it, and whether any other factors will influence the outcome of this 2011 championship. The cars move away on their final formation lap. Well, we hope it's their final formation lap, unless there's a problem when they come back to the grid. A lot of rubber debris all over the side of the track from both touring cars and the support races here today. So it means running offline is not a good idea on this formation.
No, it looks like the track after a Formula One race, doesn't it? With all the marbles and rubber, and that could have an effect actually. Certainly, if you run wide on the first lap on the first bend there's a big advantage if you just hurl the car around the outside, particularly from further back. But the negative side now is going to be picking up a lot of rubber.
There's also the low sun, which could make life a bit tricky. This is the lineup for this final race then. McDowell is on pole in the Silverline Chevy, Tom Chilton in the Ford alongside. Plato next up with Tom Boardman in the Seat on row 2. Andrew Jordan and Dave Newsham sharing row 3 with Vauxhall and Seat respectively. Tom Onslow Cole then has Matt Neal next to him on row 4, obviously ahead of Gordon Shedden with the top 9 cars reversed for this race. Dan Welsh is on that 5th row. Andy Neate and Rob Austin are together on row 6. Then it's Ollie Jackson and Liam Griffin. James Nash, who is the Independence Drivers' Champion, as we know. Jeff Smith, row 8. Row 9, Lee Wood, in the last ever outing of the Honda Integra, with which, of course, Matt Neal took 2 championships in the mid-2000s. Chris Swanick is on that 9th row. Then Tony Gillam on row 10 with John George. Tony Hughes and Chris James on row 11. Rob Collard and Martin Byford are together on row 12. Then it's Frank Rathel, Matt Jackson, who was a contender coming into this race. And we gather James Thompson is going to be starting from the pit lane, so that's a disappointment. He's had a really rough time as James Thompson, but he's enjoying being back in the camp, I know that. Nick Foster and Paul O'Neill bringing up the rear. And there is James Thompson, Tim, so really it's been a tough day for him, hasn't it?
It's not been a weekend to write home about. It hasn't been a triumphant return to the British Series for James, which is a great shame. Now, there you see the sun very much in the driver's face as they come down towards Brooklands at the end of the lap. I know Matt Neal runs quite a dark visor that he can pull down a little bit. Gordon just has a visor strip, but it certainly will play a little bit of a part. It would give a great excuse if you hit anybody, wouldn't it?
It was a problem for a few drivers, though, I gather, at Brands Hatch. Several drivers. Nick Foster struggled, and they've put a new visor on his helmet because he had that problem. And Andy Neate missed his turning point up at Sheen because of the sun, so it really can be a factor, can't it?
Definitely. You know, if I was Gordon Shedden, I'd be sitting here thinking, right, I've just got to go for it and put as many cars as I can between me and Matt Neal, because Matt's going to be being cautious, and it's no good Gordon being cautious now.
No.
He's got one chance, and that is to absolutely go for it and put a load of cars between him and Matt.
I wonder, you know, starting on the outside of the grid, on the left-hand side, that is Shedden moving his position. Could be worth a run round the outside of Copse. It's a risk, but it could be worth a go here for Gordon Shedden. If he gets a good getaway, watch for him trying to just go around the outside, sweep around as many cars as possible at that first corner, whilst Matt Neal will probably play safe and stay on the inside. That's my prediction. It'll probably turn out to be entirely wrong, but we'll wait and see. We're about to find out. The final round of the British Touring Car Championship of 2011 is all set to get underway here on the Silverstone National Circuit. It will be a Honda driver that wins the title, but which one will it be? Wait for those lights, and then we'll get the last race underway. Lights out quickly, and away we go. Plato slow away, Tom Chilton fast, and Alex McDowell also very quick. What a quick start that was, and some drivers were definitely caught napping. It's Chilton who's taken the lead.
Yeah, it was actually McDowell that was slow ahead in front of Plato.
yeah.
Plato went to the inside, and I think has got second place.
Yeah, good point. It was Plato, that's right. He's made the good start. McDowell, who got caught out by it, so he's in third place. So Tom Chilton leads. Plato it is in second now. Where are the Hondas?
There's a Honda coming through on the inside there, but he's got another one right behind it. So
Neal is ahead. Oh, Bournemouth off. Yeah, Tom's gone very, very wide. Gets back on. Hopefully no damage done. So Chilton leads, doing his little trick of trying to keep tyre temperature as he wiggles his way down towards Brooklands. And there are the two Hondas. Matt Neal ahead of Gordon Shedden, and that will keep Matt Neal happy. Shedden needs to go on the attack here.
Oh, that was dangerous. So Matt Neal was on the outside of the Ford, and he had to turn in and just kept the car nicely on the track in front of Shedden.
So Tom Bournemouth still in the group there. Behind him is Andrew Jordan. The rest of them come through. So across the line, we've got Chilton leading, Plato, then McDowell, followed by Bournemouth, a great fourth. Fifth place for Andrew Jordan. Sixth is Onslow Cole. Then the two Hondas. Matt Neal seventh. Shedden Newsham wide there. What's going on?
Yeah, he was pulling off. He's got a problem. He was pulling out of the racing line with a problem for sure.
Oh, that's a shame. He ran ninth across the line. Rob Austin 10th across the line, and we're with the two Hondas. So Matt Neal ahead of Gordon Shedden, and that certainly would give him the championship if it finishes that way around, whereas Shedden really needs to go on the attack here. Up front, the race being led by the Ford of Tom Chilton, with Plato tucked in behind in the Silverline Chevy.
Yeah, that didn't work out at all well for Gordon Shedden. He's not winning the championship at the moment, and he's got his team leader, if you like, and championship leader in front.
Yeah, he has, and Matt Neal playing a little bit of a defensive game, understandably here, as he's got his teammate behind him where he wants him. Keep an eye on him in his mirror. Of course, Matt Neal could allow Shedden through and still win the championship, but it's always nice to be ahead and controlling the situation. Up ahead of Matt Neal is Tom Onslow Cole, and they've gone across the line. I'll tell you what, Plato is still staying with Tom Chilton up front in the lead of this race. Somebody a little bit wide there. Long way out on the exit of Copse, but there Chilton, McDowell's dropped down to fourth, because Boardman's come up to third.
Yes, he has, and both the Hondas staying well off the insides of the curbs, looking after their tyres, and I think Matt Neal feels that he knows Gordon well enough that Gordon isn't going to do anything stupid, and he'd almost rather have Gordon behind him perhaps than someone else who might challenge them, but I think they've got enough speed in that car. The next car up is behind them is Rob Austin, and they should be able to put away from him.
Yeah, you're looking back from Matt Neal at Gordon Shedden. So there's the challenge for Shedden. You can see the sun glinting in their eyes there as they come through Luffield Corner. Shedden needs to go on the attack, but he's racing his teammate. He can't afford to crash into him. It has happened once already this year. They don't want it to happen in the final round of the championship, but Gordon Shedden not close enough to attack cleanly here as they come into Copse Corner.
No, and also Gordon Shedden, if he was in front of Matt Neal, he could probably hold him up a little bit to allow some other cars onto the back of Matt Neal, so he hasn't got that opportunity tactically either. No,
that's right. So all working towards Matt Neal currently. You can see Rob Austin in the background behind them, getting into a bit of a wiggle as he comes out of Beckett's corner.
He does that in every corner.
He does,
I think, Rob Austin.
Always great to watch. That is how the standings are. If they were to finish as they are now, Matt Neal would take the title by 7 points from Shedden. Plato, of course, we know, down in third place in the championship. Bit wide on the turn in there, Shed, and missed a bit of speed through the corner as well.
Yeah, Gordon's carrying a lot of speed into the corners at the moment and trusting that the front end of the car is going to grip and turn, and it's not actually working well for him at the moment. But fastest lap at the moment has gone to Boardman as they cross the line. Boardman again quickest.
Yeah, the Seat is flying. It did well in free practice yesterday as well. But Tom Boardman is going extremely well in third place. He's had a podium earlier on this year. I wonder if he can finish his season in style. But Chilton and Plato still got the advantage in this race at the moment. The gap only 0.3 of a second between them. There's Boardman being chased down by Alex McDowell. Well, Boardman managed to get past the Chevy a lap or so ago, and it looks comfortable to stay there. Jordan is 5th. Onslow Cole is in 6th place. Matt Neal, then Gordon Shetton. Rob Austin is 9th. James Nash is in 10th place. Then it's Collard, Ollie Jackson, Rathel, Griffin, and Matt Jackson is currently in 15th. But we're on board here with Jason Plato.
Yeah, Jason will be just waiting and hoping that Chilton's front tyres on the turbocharged Ford just wear out a little bit earlier than his, and that certainly is the case around here. And Plato will sit there and wait for his moment later in the race, I guess.
Tom Chilton loves this Silverstone action, so he took his first ever win here at Silverstone, and he was the youngest ever winner at that point in British touring car history, so he does love this place. Had 2 wins last year. He'll feel pretty composed and comfortable leading, even if it is Jason Plato chasing him down.
Yeah, Chilton's... Oh!
That's Collard. Collard has gone wide. He was in 13th place. He's dropped several. He might be able to get back on.
Yeah, very wide there at Copse, and well, Plato pushing on very hard at Beckett's, running right over the exit.
Yeah, now let's see if we can spot what happened there to Collard. He was down the inside. Rathel, oh, and there was contact on the straight there.
Yeah, very dangerous place to make contact. Obviously a little awareness problem between the two of them rather than anything malicious, I'm sure. Just a little awareness problem where the other car was.
So at the moment, Plato still in 2nd place to Tom Chilton, as these guys look for the top spots, and up behind them in the championship, of course, it's still Matt Neal who's heading for the title, courtesy of his position 1 ahead of Gordon Shetton. He's comfortably in front in terms of the points if it finishes like this, but let's wait and see. We're on lap 7 out of 22, 1/3 distance then, and still anything can happen. We've just seen Rob Austin go through, James Nash, Ollie Jackson, Frank Rathel, Matt Jackson tucked in behind Rathel, so Jackson could be on the move. Thompson, meanwhile, who started from pit lane, has just set fastest lap, so he's getting to grips with that Ford, and he's now in 18th position.
Yeah, that's a good performance. We're finally seeing something good out of James Thompson. He'll need a safety car or something to just pull him back onto the pack, but he's clearly got the pace to pass a few cars, and there he is in the background.
Yes, that's right. Jordan going through just up front in this group, but look further back down the pack. Matt Jackson is running 13th, and then he's just going to be coming. Griffin is there, and then James Thompson is there. He's the 3rd of the Airways cars, but remember, he had to start from pit lane. So that's an impressive fastest lap of 1 minute 1.108 from James Thompson in his first outing in the car. So everybody now just trying to settle into a rhythm, settle into their pace. Chilton has that 0.3 of a second advantage over Jason Plato, but Plato's definitely not giving up on the charge. The problem for Plato is that Ford is so fast in a straight line, and Plato's going to have to find a way in the twiddly bit, particularly down at Brooklands and Luffield.
Yeah, a lot of understeer from Chilton's car as he turned into Beckett's there. In fact, the 3 cars behind have all lapped quite a bit quicker on the last lap, so I think Chilton's already getting into tyre issues, and the whole pack is closing up. I remember a huge spin that I think Chilton had down this pit straight, or down the Wellington straight as it's now called, a few years ago when there was some contact, and we don't want to see that again, but certainly he could become a little bit of a roadblock if the others catch up. Look, they're all catching up.
They are, yes. So Jason Plato keeping that pressure on. Yeah, that big spin was an interesting one, and Jason was involved then too, wasn't he? So let's see what happens between these two. Cross the line they come. Look at the speed trap figures. Chilton 123 miles an hour, but actually matched pretty closely by the Chevy there. I guess the start-finish speed trap is not quite so indicative perhaps of top speeds on the other straight. Look at the front of Dan Welsh's car, but mind you, he's still able to overtake.
Yeah, well, fair play for keeping going, and he's past Martin by... Oh, and behind Thompson and Collard. Thompson and Collard together.
Oh,
shades of 92 again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, same place. But Thompson, I think, survived the moment. He's in 17th when they came past us, just ahead of Collard. Behind Jordan, you've still got Onslow Cole. There are the two Hondas then, Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden. No change between these two. They have run in each other's wheel tracks pretty much throughout the day, and here they are doing it again, this time for 7th and 8th.
Yeah, although they are catching up with Onslow Cole. I assume Onslow Cole's possibly running into the same tyre issues that Chilton is at the front, and that's going to give Matt Neal some questions of what to do, but I think Onslow Cole's a very fair racer.
Yeah, so let's see what happens as they cross the line. So we're on to lap 10 out of 22 now as the sun continues to drop. Is it going to be shining for Matt Neal? That's a bit wide for Gordon Shedden. Yes, he can do that a few times, but he certainly won't want to get a drive-through penalty. That'd be a horrible way to decide the championship, so he's got to be careful not to do that too often.
Yeah, he has. He gathers it all up though and has a nice entry to Beckett's and a good exit, so just a little mistake but quickly rectified.
So Matt Neal looking good for the title at the moment as it stays this way. The two of them trying to chase down the Ford ahead of them, and Tom Onslow Cole behind them. They've got Rob Austin, who is certainly on a par with their pace. He's just caught up a little bit over the last lap or so, and Rob Austin is always a hard-charging racer, so he won't worry too much about the championship. He'll just want to try and pick up some places if he can in this final race of the season. There is the Honda camp then, keeping a close eye on proceedings. What is going to happen here?
Yeah, and Rob Austin obviously has a rear-wheel drive NGTC car, so it's still quick on the straights, but should look after its tyres quite well, being rear-wheel drive, and also it has slightly wider tyres, so they should last longer than the NGTC. So he could actually be the difficult one.
James Thompson has just set another new fastest lap, interestingly enough, down in 16th place, so he really is enjoying himself in the Ford in the final run of the day. As you have a look at the two Hondas once again, Gordon Shedden still tucked in behind teammate Matt Neal. Up front there's no change, by the way. It's still Tom Chilton leading from Jason Plato. Tom Borman is third in the set, McDowell is fourth, Jordan fifth, and Onslow Cole just ahead of these two, and they are getting that bit closer, aren't they, to the back of Tom Onslow Cole now.
Yeah, definitely getting closer, but I don't think Matt Neal really wants to challenge.
Yeah.
So he's just sitting at a respectable pace behind Onslow Cole, staying off the curbs, but of course that's allowing Rob Austin and Shedden to get on the back of him.
Yeah, so Matt Neal having to think about this a little bit. And Rob Austin even closer to the back of Gordon Shedden now. Look at the Audi beginning to move out of the slipstream just a touch on the run down towards Cox. So Rob Austin fancies a chance of splitting the Hondas at least, or getting ahead of both of them perhaps. Gordon Shedden won't want that, of course. He needs to try and stay latched onto the bumper of his teammate to look for an opportunity to go through. But Austin is getting quicker and quicker by the looks of things as that rear-wheel drive Audi comes into its own in this second half of the race.
Yeah, the other, I mean, behind Austin is Nash. You can see him in the picture there, and he had a podium in the first race, and he's lapping quicker than this group in front as well.
Matt Jackson behind him in 11th place. Ollie Jackson is 12th. Frank Rathwell still running 13th. And Liam Griffin and James Thompson. Thompson, the only driver, I think, to get under the 1 minute barrier, 59.971. That fastest lap last time around. We'll see if there are any further improvements as they come past the line this time. Half a second advantage now for Tom Chilton, who leads the race. No change just here. Onslow Cole just ahead enough of Matt Neal that he hasn't got to protect, but Rob Austin definitely hunting around. There is the race leader then, Tom Chilton, still from Plato. Boardman a solid third from McDowell. Andrew Jordan a slightly lonely fifth rather, in the Pertec Vauxhall, but he'll be happy to score some consistent points to finish off the year after some up and downs in recent events. And there, Shedden quick in, but just seemed to lose a little bit of mid-corner speed to Matt Neal, and that could give Rob Austin a chance to close up again.
Yeah, Rob Austin's car is very quick on the straight for sure, but not quite so good on the brake. So he's looking, but the Hondas are very good on the brakes. Yeah. I mean, for Matt Neal, the flag just couldn't come out quick enough. This race is agony, just wishes it would finish.
Yeah, Shedden now getting right into the boot virtually of Matt Neal's car, but he's got to charge because he's being attacked himself by Rob Austin and also James Nash, who is catching up this little group. So this could become quite a fraught battle in the closing stages. Austin really got a good run behind Shedden. Rob Austin having a little look, but no, it's such a short braking area there. Difficult to try and overtake without taking a huge gamble, and Rob Austin wasn't going to do it on that lap, so he slopped in behind the Hondas once again. These guys still running 7th, 8th and 9th, and at the moment Matt Neal looking good for that third championship title.
Well, James Thompson's now got a drive-through penalty, so we can understand why he was setting those fast laps now. He was obviously using the run-off and more. Well, but he's got nothing to lose.
Exactly,
so.
yeah, I suppose there was nothing to lose by that, so he's going to have a drive-through penalty. And Rob Austin glances in his mirror, but there wasn't really trying to overtake as such. Keeping an eye now on James Nash in the silver and black Vauxhall. And then behind Nash is still Matt Jackson. Jackson, he picked up that puncture in race 1, but it hasn't stopped him bouncing over the curbs a little bit to try and gain just that little bit more margin and catch up to this group ahead. Look at Chilton, bit of a slide as he turned into Cox there, but he's still holding the edge over Jason Plato in second, Boardman in third, and McDowell in fourth place.
Yeah, and Jackson actually, Matt Jackson that is, hit his teammate Liam Griffin at the start of race 2, which caused another puncture. And in fact, they had to bring him back in and readjust the rear toe, because when he went out the pit lane, it was all down the inside. Nash on Austin.
Oh, Austin saw that coming and gave him just enough space to work with, but it's allowed Matt Jackson to get involved as well. So the two guys who were fighting for the independence title are now going to be fighting on track. Jackson having to take to the grass here, but that's given him the inside line as they come down towards Brooklands. And now Nash is going to have to be very brave to stay with him. He can't do it, and Jackson takes the place.
Yeah, and gets a little bump in the rear just for good. Oh, now a bigger bump.
Oh, that was a bit cheeky there from James Nash. Jackson was through, and Nash decided to just lean on him.
Yeah, I think there might be some replay on that one, because that was just allowing the car to run into it.
Let's see what happens.
Look, Matt's pushing him down the straight there.
Yeah, well, let's just behave, guys. You don't need to throw it all away at this point in the season. Let's just see how that worked out again.
Well, there was the first tap from Jackson, and then another harder one into Luffield to ease him wide, so Nash can go through on the inside. Now Jackson's through at Abbey on the inside, and this time Jackson gives James Nash gives him room.
Bonnet might be flapping a bit on the front of the Airways car though, and if one bonnet pin has gone, then you always in a bit of a fear that the other one might go as well.
Yeah, he'll have to come in for that for sure. You can't let the car run round like that, because when the bonnet comes up, it'll smash the windscreen, put glass in the driver's eyes. That's about to go for sure.
Yeah, it's being held on by the one bonnet pin at the moment, but that is a bit risky. Of course, when the breeze gets underneath that massive amount of force on the car, and poor Matt Jackson, his day hasn't got any better at all, has it? Leading the championship, of course, when we went to Knockhill some races ago, but it's just been horrible since then. He's going to have a change of luck. Now, what's going on here? Shenton got a chance on Matt Neal, not quite, but Rob Austin is going to go past. Rob Austin goes past Gordon Shenton, and he's got the move made, surely, unless he runs wide on the exit, and that splits the two Hondas, and it gives Matt Neal even more of a margin.
It does, but I mean, maybe Shenton's thinking, well, Rob Austin can do the damage to Matt Neal if Matt Neal gets... Shenton was out wide at Copse, and the power of the MGTC car, the Rob Austin Audi, got him up the inside.
Yeah, so that was the move, and Austin, as you say, will now try and get past Matt Neal. Meanwhile, James Nash has been given a drive-through penalty. Car number 14, drive-through penalty for James Nash, and he's taking it straight away. We saw him in the background there, heading for the pit lane. Yeah,
I wonder if that was for the touch on Matt Jackson. I don't know, but look, Austin's looking up the inside of Matt Neal now, and this could be just what Shenton wants. It could actually work for him.
Yeah, well, let's wait and see. They're still all behind Tom Onslow Cole as well. Matt Neal still wants to finish this race in one piece, but of course Gordon Shenton has now been pushed back to 9th, so even if Matt didn't finish the race, if Gordon, okay, he might move up to 8th, it still wouldn't be quite enough for Shenton to win the championship, so still all to play for, and of course we want it clean to the end. We don't want to see Matt Neal in trouble, but he is under pressure, as you can see from the Audi as they come under the bridge on the Wellington straight down towards Brooklands, and here comes Rob Austin, and Matt Neal, is he going to let him through? Surely he's going to give him space. Round goes Austin, just gets through on the inside. Now, does that allow Shenton to get even closer? Not close enough, I don't think.
No, but as you say, the problem is that Shenton needs to finish 4th or 5th with fastest lap, but he's not going to get fastest lap now, so the only way that Shenton can win is by finishing 4th, regardless of what Matt Neal does, and it doesn't look like he's going to get there.
Black and orange flag for Matt Jackson, as we thought he's been asked to come back into the pits, and he is in the pits already as Matt Jackson to sort out that bonnet, which is flapping away. But Matt Neal looking better and better at the moment for the title, although there's no car between them. He's still ahead of Shenton, which is where he wants to be. Up front in this race, Tom Chilton still looking good for victory. Jason Plato running in second. Tom Boorman is in third. There are the leaders then. Chilton maintaining that edge over Plato. Boorman, McDowell, Jordan, a little bit lonely there. Then this group of cars, which is quite promising because Rob Austin's pace has been impressive over the last couple of laps. I wonder if he can now catch and get past Tom Onslow Cole.
Yeah, well, certainly Tom Chilton and Tom Onslow Cole in 2A on Fords have looked after their tyres very well, considering they do have the fastest car down the straight, but Rob Austin's car's very quick too, and he is really pushing Onslow Cole now across the start-finish line. Yeah,
Rob Austin wants to finish the season off in style with that Audi, that NGTC car. It was new this year. They had lots of problems with it to get it sorted in the early part of the year, but we've seen some good performances recently, and Rob Austin now solidly inside the top 10. He's running 7th, he's chasing down 6th, but here between the two Hondas, no change. It's still Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden fighting it out for the title, but right now it looks as though it's heading Matt Neal's way for the third time, and the laps beginning to run out now for Gordon Shedden if he's going to make any moves. And with the field being so spread out, even if he could get past Matt Neal and get 1 or 2 places, the field is so spread out, surely he can't get enough cars between himself and Matt in the remaining part of the race.
Well, black and white flag for Jason Plato again, so he can't afford to run wide anymore, or that would be a penalty. But there's only a couple laps to go now, so it's going to be too little, too late for Gordon Shedden, I think.
Oh. No, it's all right. That's just Matt Mark and Chris James going past, and
still running very wide to do it, though.
Yeah, that's true.
But it'll be too late to have a black flag anyway.
Yeah, it probably will. It'll be the last lap of the race, so hopefully he won't get a drive-through penalty. Chilton continues to lead this race, and it looks as though Tom Chilton is going to be heading for his second win of the season. He had a victory earlier on this year, of course, at Knock Hill, but apart from that, he's only had one other podium finish, so this would be a very solid end to their season. Disappointed earlier this weekend to get a drive-through penalty for that same reason that Jason Plato's being warned, but look at this, the Honda's still there. Frank Raffles caught them as well in the Toyota.
Yeah, we've not noticed Frank actually catching up.
Austin and Onslow Cole make contact right in front of the Hondas, and Matt Neal's right there, and he's got to try and avoid them, and thankfully they get the cars pointing the right way again.
Yeah, Matt just backed out of that, didn't want to be involved at all.
Oh, nervous moments indeed for Matt Neal. You do not want to see all that happening right in front of you with your rival for the championship sitting on your boot lid. Meanwhile, Frank Raffle also tucked in behind as well, and on to the last lap they go then. Shedden running wide, but he won't get black flags anymore. We're on the last lap, he can afford to do that, but Rob Austin has got the place, so he's got past Onslow Cole, and there are the race leaders. It's Tom Chilton heading down towards Brooklands, Jason Plato in a solid second place, but look back and it looks to be heading all the way off Matt Neal as they head down towards Brooklands and Luffield for the final time.
A wonderful, wonderful event for Honda Racing, winning the first 2 races, staying out of trouble. Matt Neal is deservedly going to take the championship.
Frank Raffles trying to get past on the last corner, and he's got past Shedden, but Chilton wins. Plato finishes second, but the 3 times British Touring Car champion, the champion of 2011, it is Matt Neal. He's done it. Matt Neal wins the title. He beats his teammate Gordon Shedden, who finishes second, and Honda have dominated here this weekend. They might not have won this race, but Matt Neal has taken the title for them. Gordon Shedden finishes runner-up. That's his best ever finish in the championship. Head down. He couldn't do any more than he did. He gave it everything he had, but Matt Neal was just that little bit stronger all weekend.
5 drivers came into the last race with a chance, but the one who wanted it badly enough, and he proved it in that last race by beating his main rival, was Matt Neal, and 3 times a British champion. Used to be the People's Champion, perhaps he will be again now. He is certainly the points champion. The two of them congratulating each other. They've been a fantastic pairing all year.
So it's lovely to see Matt Neal and Gordon there just celebrating together as they head around. Matt, this is Ben in the Combox. Many, many congratulations. A fantastic job. Lift your visor and say hello to us. That was great. You're speechless, aren't you?
Yeah, mate. Just a bit.
Fantastic.
Just a mega effort by everyone at Honda. Just mega.
And you had to work for it throughout that race too, didn't you?
Yeah, mate. I've worked all weekend, all year, but this is not for me. It's a flash. It's for everybody. It's been a proper team effort. It's everyone at Honda have worked together. Oh, mate, it's mega. Thank you.
Well done. 3 times the British Touring Car champion, Matt Neal, has...
Can I go home now?
Yeah, you can go home now. Thanks, Matt. Fantastic. And a really super effort from the whole team. Chilton, the race winner. Jason Plato finishes 2nd. Boardman 3rd. McDowell 4th. And Andrew Jordan 5th, with Rob Austin a fine and fighting 6th. Tom Onzo Cole held on to 7th, but an all-important 8th place in the end there for Matt Neal, who took the title with that, heading Frank Rathel and Gordon Shedden to the line. Outside the top 10 then, we saw the likes of Ollie Jackson, Paul O'Neill, Liam Griffin, Dan Welsh as well, outside the top 10. But in the points, it is Matt Neal who has taken the title in the end, not by a massive margin, but he's done it. 8 points the advantage over Gordon Shedden. Jason Plato does finish 3rd in the points. Matt Jackson and James Nash, fierce rivals all year long, actually finished on the same number of points, but Matt Jackson gets the 4th place courtesy of more race victories. Jordan ends up finishing 6th, Tom Chilton 7th, ahead of Collard, McDowell and Paul O'Neill.